Bent is actually a Danish name, so it's not. But I've always loved that name. And yeah, in this book, this second book, Dancing in the Dark, um, it actually has a LBD. Sorry, I can't say this in English. LGBTQ theme as well, because I also had this historical story in this, where two men meet in France, at the French vineyard in Bordeaux, which at that time was occupied by the Nazis. So it's also a story about forbidden love during the French resistance. And I think that's true. I wanted to write, first of all, I love wine. So I wanted to write about the sommelier. And I studied to become a sommelier when writing this book. It was a fantastic way of doing research. So the book starts with Bente, and she used to be this popular TV sommelier. And she gets a text from a French friend who is a diving maniac. So she has been doing this diving expedition at a shipwreck and has found this wine bottle at the shipwreck from the Second World War, and the inscription is in Swedish. So her French friend just asks her, "What does this actually mean?" And when translating it, Bent gets an idea. An idea springs to her head, and she because she has this failed TV career behind her, and when I wrote Bente, I also wanted to, as I mentioned earlier, I also wanted to portray how women are portrayed in, or how women are described in media. And I think for Bente's part, it's not specifically on TV. She has worked on TV, but she was cancelled basically when she was accused of theft, actually, wrongly accused. But I think people want to believe things about her, and it's a narrative which is untrue, but people just want to believe it because it's more exciting, I would say. So, and she wants to get back to TV. She loved the fame, although that was what destroyed her. But she loved it, and she loved the attention, which also destroyed her, unfortunately. And her friends and family cannot understand why she wants to go back to that, but she does. So she pitches this idea about this wine bottle, and that she wants to explore. She wants to find the truth and the story behind the wine bottle. Why that bottle from France from 1944 ends up at a shipwreck, and it has this inscription in Swedish on it. So she contacts this producer, an old friend of her, and pitches this idea, where Didik comes to the story. He is a historian. He also works on TV, and he's newly divorced, and he's questioning so much about his life. What is right? What should I do next? And then he's urged to participate in this TV show. So they start working together on this story, and yeah, they learn a lot about themselves, I think. And the story about Sven and Mathieu, which is the historical story of this book. My husband's grandfather was actually he joined the French Foreign Legion during the Second World War. Oh, sorry, I think no, he joined before the Second World War, but my character Sven joined it during the Second World War, because many Swedes, although Sweden wasn't actively participating in war during that time, many Swedes, of course, wanted to do the right thing, but he also flees his old life after an incident. So he joins the French Foreign Legion, and then eventually also joins the French resistance. So he's on a mission in France when he meets Mathieu at this vineyard in Bordeaux, and they fall in love at this vineyard during very dangerous times. I started in these books. I've started my first books, and this latest book is actually only contemporary story, no historical stories in them. And so I guess it's kind of easier to say than that I start with a contemporary story. I think is that is kind of the main story of the book. Um, and I used historical stories as a way of maybe describing the main characters, but also um, giving them understanding and how they grow by coming to the truth about these other characters that have been fighting so much for their love. And what I love about writing in that way is that you get, I mean, when historical romances is more of a life or death um, stories, and it has a nerve that is kind of hard to include in a contemporary romance. I mean, for Sven and Mathieu, for instance, for two men um, during the Second World War in France. That is a true story about life and death, of course. And it was so funny to write both sides of it. And I think both for me as a writer and hopefully for a reader, it's also kind of a natural way of shifting environments and shifting to get like how to say more of a fast-paced story, perhaps, by shifting these and getting different views. But I think for some people, or I think some readers, they enjoy one of the stories a little bit more, maybe. So I mean, it's some people like this setup. I really enjoyed writing it, um, but I understand that sometimes you just want to dive into one of the stories and not being interrupted by the other one, because I write them um I write the stories separately almost, and then I combine them and put them where I think they fit. But I think in Dancing in the Dark, since there are I didn't want to tell the reader too much about the historical story, so to say, um, because I wanted also Bente and Didrik to find out eventually. So that was kind of tricky. What do they know? What do the reader know? And what do I know, so to say? Um, so so that was the tricky part, but also very, very fun. Almost like writing a mystery novel or crime novel.